All right, you guys ready for a deep dive into the world of Poetry Slam?
Yeah, today we're going to be dissecting an article called The 24 Questions to Reflect On by Stefan Kinkwart.
Right, and it's all about, how to really get down and dirty and find the most powerful, authentic material for your slam poetry.
Yeah, he's got some pretty spicy questions in there.
So it's kind of like a therapy session for poets.
Yeah, you could say that, I guess.
So Pinkwart, he talks about this newcomer to the Berlin slam scene, right?
Yeah.
Who ended up tossing out her prepared text and just totally winning over the crowd with raw honesty.
Yeah, and that experience actually inspired him to come up with these 24 questions.
So these questions, they're designed to kind of force poets to confront their vulnerabilities
Yeah.
and find their unique voice, right?
Exactly, and he uses a lot of humor to make the whole process less intimidating.
Which is great because, let's be real, slam poetry can be kind of scary.
Oh yeah, for sure, especially if you're new to it.
So let's dive into some of these questions, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, first one. What's the most embarrassing story that's ever happened to you, and why does it make you human?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm already cringing thinking about some of my past mishaps.
I think we all have those moments that we'd rather forget.
Totally. But Pinkwart's point is that those embarrassing moments are actually what make us relatable.
Right. By sharing our vulnerabilities, we connect with the audience on a human level.
Okay, next question. What do you hate so much that it keeps you awake at night?
That's a deep one.
Yeah, it's getting real now.
I think this question is all about tapping into our deepest frustrations and fears.
So it's like finding the fuel for our poetry.
And exactly. By confronting those negative emotions, we can transform them into something creative.
All right, question number 3. If you could be someone else's voice for 24 hours, whose voice would it be and why?
Oh, man, there are so many possibilities.
I know, right? I'd love to be like Morgan Freeman for a day.
Yeah, that voice is iconic.
Imagine narrating your own life with that voice.
That would be pretty epic.
Okay, next question. What makes you furious, and how can you turn it into a punchline?
Ooh, this one's going to be good.
I have a feeling we're going to get some strong opinions here.
I think it's about channeling that anger into something constructive.
Right, using humor to disarm those difficult emotions.
And maybe even make the audience think a little bit.
Okay, moving on. Question number 5. What moments in your life have made you laugh, even though they were actually sad?
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's like finding the humor in the darkness,
I think it's a reminder that life is full of contradictions.
and that even in the saddest moments, there can be a glimmer of hope.
Absolutely.
Okay, question 6. If you could change the world with one sentence, what would it be?
That's a tall order.
Yeah, talk about pressure.
I think this question is more about identifying our values and what's important to us.
Right. It's about figuring out what kind of impact we want to make on the world.
And maybe inspiring others to do the same.
Okay, next question. What are 3 things you would tell someone who never takes you seriously?
Ooh, this one's personal.
Yeah, I think we've all encountered people who just don't get us,
It's about standing up for yourself and demanding respect.
and maybe using humor to deflect those negative vibes.
Exactly.
Okay, question number 8. What are 3 of your biggest fears on stage, and how could you resolve them humorously?
Stage fright is real, folks.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think most performers experience it to some degree.
Pinkwart's suggestion is to embrace those fears and use humor to diffuse the tension.
Right, it's like turning your weakness into a strength.
And connecting with the audience through shared vulnerability.
Okay, question 9. What words that you've never said do you regret the most?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it's about those missed opportunities,
The things we wish we had said but didn't.
and maybe learning from those experiences to be more open and honest in the future.
Definitely.
Okay, question 10. If someone had to describe you in one sentence, what would you want them to say?
This is like writing your own epitaph.
Yeah, it's about defining who you are in the most concise way possible.
And thinking about the legacy you want to leave behind.
All right, that's 10 questions down, 14 to go.
We're on a roll.
But before we dive into the next set of questions, let's take a quick break.
Sounds good. I need to refuel my brain with some coffee.
We'll be back in a jiffy with more Poetry Slam wisdom from Stefan Pinkwart.
Stay tuned, folks. And we're back, folks, ready for more Poetry Slam goodness.
All right, let's jump right back into those 24 questions.
Okay, question number 11. What is your biggest dream and why have you never said it out loud?
That's a tough one. I think my biggest dream is to perform my poetry on a giant stage with pyrotechnics and a live band.
Wow, that's ambitious.
Yeah, I know, but hey, a poet can dream, right?
Of course, I think this question is about acknowledging those big dreams that we sometimes keep hidden.
Right, because they feel too scary or impossible.
Exactly. But Pinkwart encourages us to embrace those dreams and give them a voice.
Okay, next question. How would you convince someone that your life is as exciting as a Hollywood movie?
Ooh, this should be fun.
Let's see. Well, just the other day I was walking down the street and I saw this squirrel like running up a tree, and it totally reminded me of that scene in Mission Impossible where Tom Cruise is scaling that building.
Really?
Yeah, it was like the squirrel was on a Mission Impossible of its own.
So you're saying your life is like an action movie?
Maybe not quite, but I think there's always something exciting happening if you look closely enough.
I like that perspective.
Okay, next question. What words have the most power over you and why?
That's a deep one.
I think for me it's the word failure.
Ooh, that's a heavy one.
Yeah, it's like this voice in my head that tells me I'm not good enough.
But you're here, you're doing this podcast, you're clearly not a failure.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I guess it's about overcoming those negative voices and finding our own power.
Exactly. And using our words to challenge those limiting beliefs.
All right, next question. What would you say on stage if no one would judge you?
Now we're getting to the good stuff.
Okay, if no one would judge me, I would probably confess my secret love for boy bands.
No way, really.
Yeah, I know it's embarrassing, but hey, everyone has their guilty pleasures.
I guess that's the point of this question, right?
Totally. It's about letting go of our inhibitions and expressing ourselves freely.
And maybe surprising the audience with our unexpected honesty.
Okay, next question. If you had a superpower, what would it be and how would it look on stage? That's a tough one.
I think my superpower would be the ability to make people laugh.
That's a great superpower.
Yeah. Imagine being able to just like snap your fingers and the whole audience erupts in laughter.
That would be amazing.
It's like spreading joy and positivity through the power of humor.
I love it.
Okay, next question. What moments from your childhood do you never want to forget and why?
Ooh, childhood memories.
Yeah, I remember this one time when I was like 5 years old and I went to the zoo with my family and I got to feed a giraffe.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, it was like this magical moment that I'll never forget.
I think those childhood memories shape who we are today.
Absolutely. They're like
Yeah.
little treasures that we carry with us. Okay, next question. What do you think about yourself when you are alone? And how would you put it into words?
That's a good question. When I'm alone. I think I'm actually pretty funny.
I believe it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
like to make myself laugh and entertain myself with my own thoughts.
it's important to be able to enjoy your own company.
Totally. And I think that self-awareness translates to the stage as well.
Right. The more comfortable we are with ourselves, the more authentic our performances will be.
Okay, next question. What has made you truly angry? And how could you use that anger to move your audience?
Ooh, things are getting heated.
You know what really makes me angry? Injustice and inequality.
That's a powerful emotion.
Yeah, it's something that I feel very strongly about, and I think it's important to use our voices to speak out against those injustices.
Absolutely. And poetry can be a powerful tool for social change.
Okay, next question. What music do you listen to when you want to feel invincible, and how does it make you ready for the stage?
This is my favorite question.
Mine too. I love listening to like really empowering anthems before I perform.
Same. It's like putting on a suit of armor.
Yeah, it gets me pumped up and ready to conquer the stage.
Music can be such a powerful motivator.
Okay, next question. What do you want to hear from yourself when your audience applauds?
Ooh, that's a good one.
When the audience applauds, I want to hear myself say, "You did it. You shared your truth and you connected with people."
That's beautiful.
It's about recognizing the courage it takes to be vulnerable on stage.
And celebrating the fact that we shared our stories with the world.
Okay, next question. What is the biggest lie you have ever told yourself, and how can you uncover it?
This one's deep.
I think the biggest lie I've ever told myself is that I'm not creative enough.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, but I'm starting to realize that everyone has their own unique creativity.
It's just about finding our own way of expressing it.
Exactly, and sometimes it takes a little bit of digging to uncover that hidden potential.
All right, next question. What would you say if your words were your last performance?
Wow, snazzy.
Yeah, it's about leaving a lasting impression.
If my words were my last performance, I would say, be kind, be brave, be you.
That's a powerful message.
It's about embracing our authenticity and making the most of our time here.
Okay, next question. How does the moment look when you leave the stage and know you have given everything?
I think it looks like pure joy and relief.
Yeah, like a weight has been lifted.
Exactly. It's the feeling of accomplishment and knowing that you left it all on the stage.
And hopefully inspiring the audience along the way.
Okay, last question. What is the most important lesson you have learned from all of these questions?
This is the grand finale.
I think the most important lesson is that vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness.
That's so true.
When we embrace our vulnerabilities, we open ourselves up to deeper connections and more meaningful experiences.
And we give others permission to do the same.
Absolutely. And that's the beauty of Poetry Slam. It's a space where we can be our true selves and share our stories without fear of judgment.
And hopefully inspire each other along the way.
All right, we've made it through all 24 questions.
Phew, that was a journey.
But it was a worthwhile one, right?
Definitely Pinkwart's questions have given us a lot to think about.
And maybe even inspired some future slam poetry champions.
Who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be the next big thing.
That would be awesome.
Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today.
But before we go, we want to give a shout out to Pinkwart's book, Poetry Master.
It's a great resource for anyone who wants to learn more about slam poetry and improve their writing skills.
And who knows, maybe it'll even inspire you to take the stage yourself.
That's it for this deep dive into the world of Poetry Slam.
Thanks for listening. And we're back for the final round of Pinkwart's 24 questions to reflect on.
All right, let's dive right in with question number 21.
Okay, hit me with it.
What is more important, the journey or the destination?
That's a deep one.
Yeah, it's like one of those philosophical questions that makes you really think.
So what do you think? Is it more about the process or the end goal?
I think it's a balance, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you got to enjoy the ride, but you also need to have something to strive for.
Right, like what's the point of reaching the destination if you didn't have any fun along the way?
Exactly, and sometimes the detours and unexpected twists and turns are what make the journey so memorable.
Totally. I'm all about embracing the unexpected.
Me too. Life's too short to be stuck on a rigid path.
All right, next question. What's next on Pinkwart's list of soul-searching inquiries?
Question number 22. What is your biggest mistake, and what did you learn from it?
Ooh, this one's getting personal.
Yeah, we all make mistakes. It's part of being human.
Okay, confession time. I once accidentally wore mismatched shoes to a poetry slam.
No way, seriously.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it until I was already on stage.
Oh, man, that's hilarious.
It's pretty embarrassing, but I learned to always double-check my outfit before leaving the house.
And maybe embrace the power of humor to diffuse awkward situations.
Totally. I mean, what else could you do but laugh it off?
Exactly. Sometimes our biggest mistakes turn into our best stories.
Our next question. Bring on the existential angst.
What would you do if you knew you only had 1 year left to live?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it really makes you think about your priorities.
I've only had a year left. I would travel the world, eat all the delicious food I could find, and spend as much time with loved ones as possible.
That sounds like a pretty amazing year.
Yeah, I would want to make the most of every single moment.
I think that's the takeaway from this question, right?
Absolutely. It's a reminder to live life to the fullest and not take anything for granted.
Okay, last question. Let's wrap this up with a big one.
Get me with it.
What do you want to leave behind in the world?
Wow, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's about thinking about our legacy.
I think I want to leave behind a sense of kindness and compassion.
That's a beautiful sentiment.
Yeah, I believe that we all have the power to make the world a better place, even in small ways.
And that our actions can have a ripple effect that extends far beyond ourselves.
Totally. It's about leaving the world a little bit brighter than we found it.
And that's a wrap on Pinkwart's 24 questions.
Wow, what a journey it's been.
Yeah, we've explored some pretty deep topics.
But I think it's been really insightful.
Definitely, Pinkwart's questions have challenged us to think critically about ourselves and our art.
And hopefully inspired us to be more authentic and courageous in our creative pursuits.
Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Thanks for joining us on this exploration of slam poetry.
We hope you enjoyed it.
And who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to try your hand at slam poetry yourself.
We believe in you.
Until next time, keep writing, keep performing, and keep those creative juices flowing.
See you later.